Whoa, what's good, Commanders fans? Just wanted to check in here real quick before OTAs and just give a couple of updates. So OTAs tomorrow will be happening. OTAs actually they happen today, May 27th to the 30th. I always get this mixed up. Let me look up the Commanders off-season updates, off-season schedule, because I always mix up the days here. So here it is. Commanders announced 2025 off-season dates, and they also announced the last preseason. So yeah, May 27th to the 30th. So the 27th, the 28th, 29th, 29th, and 30th. So that's 4 days of phase 3 of OTAs. And in this phase, they are going to do some 7-on-7, and they may do some 11-on-11. I know they do 7-on-7. I know they do 1-on-1 drills. And the media is going to be there on Wednesday. Dan Quinn is going to speak. He's going to have a press conference, and I think Cliff is going to talk to Joey Jr. and some, excuse me, some of the other players. This will be the first time we get to see a competitive mix of the veterans and the rookies that we just drafted. So that will be fun to see Debo go against Trey Amos or Terry go up against Trey Amos. Matchups like that, Josh Connerly in pass protection, even though pass protection on OTAs, you're not really going to get much from that. But from more of the wide receiver standpoint, Jalen Lane, I can't wait to see him match up against some guys. So those are guys that I'm really looking forward to. See if Ben Sinnott made any improvement. And once again, it's OTA, so you don't want to get too hyped up or too crazy. You get to see Jaden Daniels, of course, with the gained muscle out there tomorrow. We'll hear about that from the OTAs and some pictures and possibly some videos and stuff like that. So I'll be definitely posting about that and making a reaction video to that tomorrow. So be prepared for that. We do play the Ravens in the last preseason game, so that's another update right there. Saturday, August 23rd at noon in Landover at Northwest Stadium. So that will be the last preseason. That will be the tryout, the who's going to make the 53-man roster game where Jaden's not going to play. All the starters are not going to play. It's going to be all the backups, guys who are fighting for a spot in the NFL and fighting for a spot on the practice squad, that last game against the Ravens. So be prepared for that game as well. All right, so let's talk about Carl Davis. So they did sign defensive tackle Carl Davis. Carl Davis was on the team last year. Not going to hype him up, not going to call him an athletic freak or anything like that. I know we joke about that on the Commanders Kings all the time, about hyping up these practice squad guys and guys that we sign and stuff like that later in the season or camp bodies and whatnot. But Carl Davis did play last year. He did play a couple snaps when Jonathan Allen was hurt. He was out for a couple of games. We did have a rotation, a defensive tackle rotation of Johnny Newton, Deron Payne, Sheldon Day, and I think Jalen Holmes played defensive tackle. He was interchangeable as like a defensive end, defensive tackle. Some of the guys that we were throwing out there. So Carl Davis, he did have a 62.9 pass rush grade last year, 60.9 run defense grade, which was 58th out of 219 defensive tackles, 64 overall PFF grade. Didn't play many snaps. Only played 43 snaps last year and he had 2 tackles. 33 years old, 6'5", 335 pounds. He is a big fella. He's more known as a run stopper and a space eater. Good in one tech. Did play with the Cowboys last 2023. Played with the Cowboys, so he does have familiarity with Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn. Fedarian Mathis was released, and they decided to keep Carl Davis or sign Carl Davis last year too. He did have a sack on Teddy Bridgewater in 2021. Like I said, he is more known for slowing down the run game. So we'll see what we get from Carl Davis. We'll see if he makes the roster, if he makes the practice squad again. He's been in the league since 2015. 3rd-round pick for the Baltimore Ravens. With the Ravens, he played in 13 games, 3 starts, 2 pass deflections, no sacks in his rookie season, but had 11 combined tackles. Now, his best year was when he had a sack with the New England Patriots, had a fumble recovery where he ran for 17 yards with the fumble recovery, which is pretty good for a big fella like him. Had 11 tackles and a sack, and then he had a sack in 2021 as well. So not a lot of impact, but, you know, he has experience. Played with Jacksonville, played with the Colts, played with the Browns. He's bounced around, been on a good amount of teams. And I do want to read his pre-draft write-up. He had a 33-inch vertical leap, which is pretty good, too. His athletic score is really good, too. 4th in the 2015 Combine. He had a 77 athletic score, which is really good. 74 total score, which was ranked 7th out of all defensive tackles for his total score. And ran a 5.7 40-yard dash, which is pretty good for a guy his size. The write-up says Davis has the height, weight, and length of a first rounder, but his draft value will be hindered by his lack of productivity. Basically, like in the NFL, he's lacked production as well. As a pass rusher, if Davis can get his overall production to match his talent and traits, he'll have a long NFL career. Powerful player, grows roots against double teams and holds his ground. Noticeable improvement with his hands. from 2013 to 2014. Shows ability to win with his hands and remain disengaged. Fires off the ball with leverage as well. Strong punch off the snap with power to get an arm extension and shed blocks. All right, so that's all I'm going to read about him. Weaknesses is that his pursuit can be lazy and uninspired. But I know Dan Quinn and Joe Jr. can get the best out of him for whatever snaps that he does play in the practice squad as well. So, yeah, we'll see what we can get out of Carl Davis in the practice squad in a couple games and in training camp as well, and OTAs. All right, so let's move on to Jalen Ramsey. So, we've been connected to Jalen Ramsey a couple of times. Jeremy Fowler allegedly said that we've been linked to the to Jalen Ramsey. And then earlier in April 24th, it was like right before the draft, Armando Salguero came up with an article and said that the Commanders are one of the 5 teams that have spoken to the Dolphins regarding a trade for all-pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Now, that was before we drafted Trey Amos. Now, I think after drafting Trey Amos, that kind of makes us out of the sweepstakes, just in my opinion. Now, they still, Adam Peters, he may still be talking to him. May just be checking in and just seeing, what they can give up for him. Like, how much would it cost to get him? Would they eat some of the salary? You look at Jalen Ramsey and his pay and what he's going to get, looking at his contract, he still has a pretty pricey contract. $25 million, a $16 million cap hit in 2025, $25 million cap hit in 2026, $26 million cap hit in 2027, $36 million cap hit in 2028. There's a potential out after 2025 in his contract. So the thing is, his contract, like, he's still a good player. Like, he's still a solid player. Like, he had a solid year last year. The 71.9 PFF grade last year, which was 20th in the NFL among corners, which is pretty solid, not bad at all. He had 2 picks, 5 pass breakups. So the guy is still productive. Like, and you look at his passer rating allowed, which was better than Marshawn Lattimore's last year. He had an 83.2 passer rating allowed compared to Marshawn Lattimore, who had a 105.4 passer rating allowed. Now, I'm not going to rag on Marshawn because he wasn't healthy. He had a chronic hamstring injury. He was in and out of the lineup. He didn't even play until we played against the Saints, which was like the 3rd or 4th game after we traded for him. So I do give him a little bit of slack, but Jalen Ramsey's still a productive corner. Like, he's still a darn good productive corner. And then you look at his production. He played in all 17 games last year. He played in 10 games in 2023 with the Dolphins, but he played in all 17 games last year. All 17 games. Played in 17 games with the Rams in 2022, 2021 where they won the Super Bowl, 16 games and 15 games with the Rams in 2020. So the last 4 or 5 seasons, he has been healthy. And you think about a cornerback room with Jalen Ramsey, Marshawn Lattimore, and that's another 30-year-old corner that you would be giving up a draft pick for. That's the only thing. Do you want to give up another draft pick and have to pay Jalen Ramsey when you're on the hook for Marshawn Lattimore as well? And then next year we already traded a pick for Laramie Tunsil. So are you willing to give up another pick? I know we're in win now mode. We are close. We're not recalibrating. We're not rebuilding or anything like that. We are in win now mode. We are a team that is eyes on the prize, looking to compete, looking for a Super Bowl. Like, we legit are. And it's crazy to say it, but this is the reality that we're in right now. When you have a franchise quarterback like James Daniels, you have Terry McLaurin, you traded for Debo, you traded for Laramie Tunsil. You made some big boy moves. You traded for Marshawn Lattimore last year. You're playing in the NFC East that they're making moves. The Cowboys traded for George Pickens. So they're interested in Jalen Ramsey as well. So we are in win now mode. We are close. We legit are close. Not the other regimes when they said they were close. We are close. We are close. We are a legitimate contender. So Jalen Ramsey, I wanted, like, my focus really is pass rushing. Getting another pass rush. I think honestly the cornerback room that we have is fine. I think we made a drastic improvement from last year, going from Ben St. Juste and Manuel Forbes to the guys that we have right now with Trey Amos. A healthy Marshawn, Mikey in the slot, Jonathan Jones is a backup, Noah I is a backup. I think that's a vastly improved cornerback room. Can we get better? There's always room to get better, but I think you want to see what Trey Amos does. Let's see what Trey Amos does in OTAs, training camp, preseason. Now, Jalen Ramsey probably will be gone by then. But I think they're very confident in what they can get out of Trey Amos. So that's why I think that we don't make this move. Is Jalen Ramsey the better player than Trey Amos at this point? That may be true. But I think they want to see what they got in Trey Amos. He's got the size and the length and the speed and the athleticism to develop into a premier corner, in my opinion, in Trey Amos. I really do believe that. But like I said, Jalen Ramsey had a good year last year. He had a solid season. He had a 76.9 PFF grade, which is 16th out of all cornerbacks, 2 picks, 15th out of all corners, played 1,027 snaps, which was 13th out of all corners, 5th in pass breakup, 5 pass breaks, which was 44th among all cornerbacks as well. So it's not like Jalen Ramsey is just this old washed up player. Like the guy still has some left in the tank there before. And, we talk about ball is life all the time. Jalen Ramsey does have, he does take the football away. He does take the football away. He had 3 picks in 2023, 4 picks in 2022, and 4 picks in 2021. So he still has ball production where he takes the football away. And I know Joe Witt Jr., you imagine like on paper, that would be like a Madden type of team where you have Jalen Ramsey and Marshawn on the other side. Now, like I said, I know they're older now. But, Jalen Ramsey's no slouch. He's no slouch for sure. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Jalen Ramsey, 2025, $21.10 million. He's going to get paid 2026, $21 million again, 2027, $21 million, and 2028, $24 million. So the contract just goes up and up and up and up. So is it worth it to give up a pick and pay Jalen Ramsey? That's the biggest question mark there for acquiring Jalen Ramsey. So as always, you guys let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend. Hope you guys got on the grill. And I definitely want to acknowledge all the veterans that served and protected our country as always. Health Commanders, have a good weekend. Peace.